Absolutely. And also, when it comes to Canadians who move overseas, what are the biggest mistakes you would say you've seen them make when it comes to investing their money?
Well, I think that in a lot of cases, they never consider the jurisdiction they're in. A lot of people, for one, they never look at where the platform is actually located. So for example, in a regional tax area like Central America, they may use a US entity broker who are going to have US taxes that are US withholding taxes on any of the interest and dividends that they put in place. So they're actually paying higher taxes than they may have at home in Canada. And so in that case, I think that I really have to look at the jurisdiction of where the platform is and then make sure that you actually so that's the first step. And then the second step is to make sure that you follow all the disciplines that they've probably been following, that they've been following at home, to have a good diversified, asset model that's going to accomplish each one of their individual goals. But it's really to make sure that the platform works, and that can become complicated to make sure it works for each individual, depending on not only where they're going, but where they're coming from, and citizenships. An American is always going to we're going to have to look at them completely different than we would a non-resident Canadian. And certainly a non-resident Canadian living in Mexico would have other decisions compared to, say, a non-resident living in Costa Rica. And so it's really looking at them internationally to make good decisions for them.
That's a
What's
great
right.
point, actually, because that's something I've seen as well with a lot of people that they will also invest in US assets as well, where there's withholding
Exactly.
tax or dividend tax. So I think the bottom line is the platform needs to be in a tax neutral jurisdiction from their point of view, right? Because we don't want extra taxes that they need to pay essentially on their assets, right? Because that's just wasted money. And also, I guess one common thing is, but this is something you can see with British people and all kinds of expats. I guess it's very easy for Canadian expats to focus on their home market bias, like investing in Canadian companies or so on. But obviously, as an expat, you might say, well, you should be in a globally diversified portfolio as well. Obviously, it depends on the individual, but I guess home country bias is a common
Yeah.
you faced as well.
Yes, absolutely. And that can go back to currency as well. Canadian dollar has been weak, recently. And so they've got decisions with currency conversion. And we can help that in an international platform to make sure not only are we going to convert currency at the correct opportunistic time for them, but at the same time, that's going to dictate the type of assets that we can hold, and how we would make those decisions are all things they've never had to consider in the past.
Well, absolutely. That's very useful. And if anyone's got any questions or they want to set up a meeting with Warren, if you're a Canadian expat in Latin America or beyond, get in contact with me or Warren directly. And I thank you for your time, Warren. And I'm sure you're going to help our clients in the future as well.
All right, I look forward to it. Thanks for having me today.